Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host Sean Contar, and today's time we're going to discuss about Blade's movie must be an MCU prequel to explain four Marvel mysteries. Marshala Ali's solo Blade movie needs to be an MCU prequel so it can explain some major Marvel mysteries, such as where he was before Phase 4. Marvel Studio Blade movie must be a Marvel Cinematic Universe prequel so it can answer four big mysterious details on Mahershala Ali's solo Blade movie has been scarce ever since the project announced in 2019. The film is directed by Bassam Tariq, written by Stacey O.C. Kufar, but the story detail ever yet be revealed. Audience are more curious than ever to see the Daywalker and the MCU following his surprise appearance, or rather off-screen. Dialogue The Internals post-credits scene, the voice-only role raised several questions about the Blade's MCU history, leading to more speculation about what exactly the story was certain and will be set. Thanks to the Blade's long lifespan, half vampire, there has been suggestion this could be the MCU next prequel movie. Marvel Studios has become more comfortable exploring the past. Recent years, Captain America: The First Avengers was only period piece entry shared universe for the longest time. But Captain Marvel 1995 Stevie Gofford and Lulu comes to you while establishing the Carl Danvers Phase 4 has continued to re-explore the past in various ways. Blackwater and Sally said during the events of Captain America Civil War and changed how audience saw certain events. Meanwhile, their own story span 7,000 years established internal history with the Earth Marvel continues and add more context, past while pushing the main storyline forward. Blade now viewed as the prime candidate to the next MCU prequel. Related how Marvel should make the MCU Blade movie. In about every instance, Marvel has used these MCU prequels to answer some legendary mysteries kept in Marvel. Explain how Nick Fury lost his eye after Goose scratched his providing controversial reveal a big Marvel mystery. Black Widow used the prequel setting finally explore what happened between Natasha and Hawkeye and the Budapest similar connection. Weren't the prominent internal sense that largely disconnected from the main storylines and characters and internal arguably provide more MCU stories than answers. While the same could be true, Blade and Theory Martial Ali, superhero vampires are already part of the established universe. Here are the Marvel Mysterio Blade can answer if at the MCU prequel movie, whereas Blade was during the finale saga on Phase 4. From the moment Marshall Ali was officially cast in Blade, fans have been left to wonder where the vampire hunter has been throughout the MCU history. He didn't play the role on the point during the Infinity Saga. He's only showing up now during the Phase 4. His role in Eternal's post-credit scene confirms that he's already active, which makes the absence of the last decade's Marvel Studio stories more mysterious than obviously. The real-world explanation the MCU didn't have a plan to play before Masha Ali expressed all the interest playing the role as a Marvel TV instead plans the vampire hunter. However, now Eric Brooks joined the MCU Marvel and provides an explanation universe so why Blade hasn't appeared before helped out in any massive theater such as Loki invasion, Thanos attack. Perhaps the easiest explanation Blade will provide the mystery of Masha Ali absence through the far of solo adventures, much like how Marvel provided the convicts for why the Eternals magical beings like an Ancient One and Wong weren't involved before their introductions. The world of vampire and the supernatural could completely occupy Blade time. Marvel explained that Eternals didn't interfere in the Avenger Endgame because their orders to stay out of a non-divine attacks. Meanwhile, the Black Sorcerer before Doctor Strange was explained those individuals having to protect the world from the off-screen supernatural threats. The same could be true. The Blade might be one of the only people keeping the vampires from reckoning the havoc across Earth. The solo movie can show these adventures by explaining the past. The origin of Vampire and the MCU Blade also expected to be placed where the origin MCU vampires are explained, although movie Disney Plus shows have yet physically show a vampire they are already confirmed they exist. This happened before. Blade's role in Joe's post-credit, the first vampire reference in the MCU came Thor Ragnarok. The Kong referenced their existence while explaining how useless wooden weapon entry states Bill Lukey provided another reference of their existence. Mobius claimed the vampires are among most deadly adversaries. Both of these and fascinating of their own. Neither of them provide details on the origin of vampire in the MCU. Related Doctor Strange 2 theory would explain the origin of MCU vampire. There's certainly a chance of MCU project like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Moon Knight, and Werewolf by Night Halloween special could further tease how vampires came to be Blade is the best place properly explained. The origin, the potential prequel movies show exactly how vampires were created by taking viewers back of the beginning instead of just explaining it throughout the dialogue throughout the Blade's own origins can happen, and his long history of fighting vampires can also be established. Why vampires are considered as the major threats. I thought we'll explain the origin of vampires. Blade prequel movie reveals that they are viewed by massive threats looking incinerated the vampires as the same most dangerous creatures that exist in the MCU, putting them the par with the Greek Titans and Thanos in terms of their deadlines. Since the view came to Mobius in the time Varys authority potentially mean that there are multiverse threatening villains, while in the case vampires being put in the same villain category as Thanos, who wiped out half of the universe, and Kree, who are among most powerful alien race now worthy. Blaze can surely explain the MCU vampire have dangerous reputation no matter when the story is set. A prequel movie that explored the point Eric Brooks' past will do the job explaining this. It gives Marvel a chance to show the history of vampires have within the MCU. This can help establish the plot-sucking villains have previously influenced the universe, the power they could hold, meanwhile showing the vampire attacks in the past being stabbed a blade would further illustrate the great Avijab not only might have already stopped the multiple vampire attacks, but Blade managed to do without them becoming common knowledge in the MCU. Blade's connection with Black Knight and Ebony Blade, one of the most pursuing Marvel mysteries Blade is an answer is how it's connected to the Black Knight. And Ebony Blade, all the internal post-credit scene showed Dane Whiteman acquiring the curse sword preparing to pick it up. It's only the began reaching for the Ebony Blade of the Marshali voice was heard by saying, "Sure, you ready for that, Mr. Whiteman?" The brief moment teased Blade, beware. Blade is aware of the Ebony Blade power and might some insight of the struggle that came with being in the Black Knight. The scene signaled most viewers that Kit Harington's MCU character returned the Blade lean more than the sword of a family secret's history. Related, Blade once then Wegman's sword for himself, internal theory explained. While Blade can explain the portion of Eric Brooks' connection, Black Knight of Ebony Blade, regardless of its settings, prequel portion of the movie can dive deeper into his history. There are theories that Blade previously worked with Dan's uncle, or many have been owned in the Ebony Blade himself. Either the option could explain why it seems Warren then was about the future choosing, but it's much better to see the history play out. Blade being the MCU prequel movie could mean showing Eric past adventure fighting against alongside Dennis' uncle or older relative. If Blade did not happen to own Ebony's Blade, at one point audience will want to see Marshali wild the world in some action sequence. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this topic. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for more. Thank you.